there. It is always great when we get questions about the kind of work that we're doing or that we have done. We just finished up a great project with the Media Democracy Fund and thought to talk a little bit about this in the Green Case Study. We named these Green Case Studies because it is the color of the environment, renewal, transformation, and that's what we do when we go in to work with customers, clients, partners who are doing incredible work. They want to do that work even better, and they want to partner to be a part of the thought leadership, but also to provide recommendations, to do research, and to help them sort through all the different options. The Media Democracy Fund is an interesting one in that we've worked with them for the better part of almost a decade on a variety of projects. One of the first projects we did with Media Democracy Fund was actually a joint project that was funded by the Knight Foundation, MacArthur Foundation, Ford Foundation, Open Society, and others. And it was really thinking about how do we bring to the table public interest technologists, much like the way in which foundations, including the Ford Foundation, helped to create the field of public interest attorneys years ago. They wanted to think about how we did that with technologists. We certainly want them to go to larger companies, but we also want technologists who can help government better understand what is happening in technology, or to help nonprofits, or to help other foundations to be able to understand what's happening in technology. It was over the course of about 6 years that we did that project. And initially it started with research, and then we went on to creating a fellowship, and then helping to select the fellows each year for that fellowship that took place in Washington, D.C., a separate fellowship that helped to select global fellows that went to countries around the world that were all in pursuit of how do we create democracy around technology and public interest technology, and ensuring that technology is open to all. And this particular project that we've done with Media Democracy Fund over the last year and a half, it was really internal, and it was about the management team. The team had just completed a strategic plan, but it had been done during COVID. It now wanted to see where there might needed to be some tweaks in the strategic plan, wanted to think about how to operationalize it, but also wanted to think about the structure of the management team. Media Democracy Fund is not a large organization. It has done incredible work, deep dives into, again, how do we make democracy, or for how do we make media more democratic for everyone, and that there is access. And they've done that with scores of partners around the country, around the world, and do this with a small team is tremendous how much work they get done, and just bravo to them for how much work they get done. Our work was with Amber French, the former executive director, and the management team, and also some of their consultants who were also doing other kinds of work, and hearing about how we could help the management team think about that work and what it would look like in terms of how they might flow their work differently. We also were helping them to move from a steering committee to now having a board of advisors, and also thinking about what their 2024-2025 learning agenda would be internally, and how it would inform the work, the new work they might do. One of the interesting facts that I love about Media Democracy Fund, and you don't hear these words typically spoken about many organizations, foundations, nonprofits, is that they had research and development, an R&D arm, so that they could actually think about new projects that would still speak to democracy, media democracy, and would still be in support of scores and scores of other partners from around the world. And so there we were also trying to figure out how they might reorganize themselves, their work, their management team, so that they could actually create more opportunity for more robust R&D to be done. So a project over 15 years of working with Media and Democracy Fund, I should say a variety of projects over 15 years, but this most recent was an opportunity to facilitate how they were going to operationalize their strategic plan, how they were going to do their equity work even more deeply, but also helping them to think about some potential new hiring as well, and also how they would move from their steering committee to a board of advisors. So as you can see, when we do these kinds of projects around infrastructure building, they can be varied. Every organization is different. Every corporation, every government entity, every nonprofit, every foundation is very different. And what we get called in to do in terms of that kind of infrastructure work can be significantly different. So I'm excited that we got to do this work with Media Democracy Fund. They've been a valued partner for almost a decade. I'm excited for the work that we got to do over almost a decade with Media Democracy Fund, and really am so glad that Media Democracy Fund exists. There are projects that they have taken on that have made it possible for there to be broadband access, for there to be it to be known where there's an infringement on democracy through media, and that they have tried really hard to ensure that all of us have our democracy and that we can be participatory in it. And so I'm glad for the small part that Tammy Dowley-Blackman Group, and particularly TDB Group Strategic Advisory, has played in partnership with Media Democracy Fund. I will be eternally grateful to the founder, Helen Bruner, and to the former executive director, Amber French, for bringing TDB Group Strategic Advisory into Media Democracy Fund's work. I am wishing Jacqueline Mason, the interim executive director, well, and the entire team, and just can't wait to see all that Media Democracy Fund will continue to do. And it is so exciting. And again, we should all be incredibly thankful that Media Democracy Fund is here and working on all of our behalf.